Hello and a very warm welcome to World This Week by Latest Laws. This is our weekly program, so subscribe and press the bell icon to get notified. My name is Monika Rahar and let's get started by having a look at Supreme Court this week. The review petition, which is filed by the centre in the Maratha Reservation case, it sought dismissal at the instance of the top court. Now, a 5-judge constitution bench, it said that the grounds taken in the review petition, they do not fall within the limited grounds on which a review petition can be considered. Now, we need to understand that the top court, by virtue of its May 5 order, struck down a law which was made by the Maharashtra government giving reservations in jobs and education to Marathas under the socially and educationally backward classes category. The bench, while dismissing this petition, stated, and I quote, "The various grounds which are taken in the review petition, they've already been dealt with in the main judgment. We do not find any sufficient ground to entertain this review petition," unquote. Now, for those CA aspirants who were not able to prepare for their exams owing to the fact that either they themselves or any other member from their families contracted the COVID-19 virus, the top court has directed the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which is the body taking care of this exam, to provide an opt-out option to these candidates for the exams which are scheduled to begin from July 5. On Friday, a division bench of the Supreme Court asked the centre to inform about the schedule for counselling to fill up seats for the Master of Dental Surgery course after the MDS exam, the eligibility exam for the admission. It was conducted back in December 2020. In its recent ruling, the top court has held that reservations for persons with disabilities, which was regulated and executed by the legislation of 1995, which is titled as Persons with Disabilities, Equal Opportunities, Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act, it is to be applied on their promotions as well. Now this legislation is substituted by another legislation. Notably, the top court has also held that those persons with disabilities who were appointed not under this reservation category can also avail themselves of the benefit of reservation and promotion under the category of persons with disabilities. On Thursday, the plea, which sought guidelines from the Apex Court for the speakers to take action on disqualification of MLAs and MPs, it was fixed for hearing after 2 weeks by the CJI-led bench. The petition filed before the top court said that there is an urgent necessity for laying down guidelines to govern the conduct of speakers as presiding officers of the Houses of Parliament. It has also sought a time framework within which these guidelines are to be implemented. Now let's proceed to the next segment of our news analysis and have a look at the Delhi High Court this week. So the Delhi High Court has refused to entertain a petition which has sought an interim order to direct all schools which are affiliated to the CBSE to publish the rationale document for criteria devised for the assessment of students of class 10th on their respective websites before they calculate the result and upload the same on the CBSE portal. The court was dealing with a criminal matter in which the petitioners, in both cases, they were declared as proclaimed offenders without following due process of law. This prompted the court to lay down the guidelines to be followed by all courts while dealing with a person as a proclaimed offender. These guidelines were pronounced in a case which is titled as Sunil Tyagi versus Government of NCT of Delhi and another. These guidelines touched upon the following aspects. First being guidelines for warrants of arrest at investigation stage, second being guidelines for warrants of arrest at trial stage, then guidelines for verification of address of the accused by the police at the stages of summons, warrants, arrest and surrender, fourth being guidelines for cases initiated on private complaints, fifth being guidelines on conditions to be imposed at the time of granting bail, followed by guidelines for issuance of proclamation and others. Now let's proceed with the next segment, which is of Bombay High Court. On Wednesday, the High Court of Bombay upheld the constitutional validity of a tariff order which was passed by the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India last year, but struck down one condition which said that the price of a single channel cannot be more than 1/3 of the highest price of the channel in that particular category or classification. Now let's proceed and have a look at the Calcutta High Court this week. Following the report submitted by the NHRC on the post-election violence case, the High Court of Calcutta has ordered police to register all cases of the victims of the violence. On Friday, the court directed the West Bengal government to reinstate the security cover given to BJP Suvendu Adhikari, who is also the leader of opposition in the state assembly. Adhikari's security detail was earlier withdrawn by the Mamata Banerjee-led government in the state. The court observed that he is adequately covered by the central security detail assigned by the Home Ministry. The court on Wednesday allowed affidavits of West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and that of the Law Minister of the state in connection with the Maratha sting operation case. This matter is posted by the High Court for next hearing on July 15th. Now let's proceed and have a look at an update coming from the Allahabad High Court. So the Allahabad High Court has sought a response from the CBSE, the ICSE and the UP Board on regulation of school fee. This development took place in response to a PIL which was filed seeking regulation of school fee across all private educational institutions in the state till physical classes resume. Now let's proceed and have a look at an update coming from the Punjab and Haryana High Court. On Thursday, the Punjab and Haryana High Court stayed the trial against former Haryana Chief Minister Bhupender Singh Hooda and against Associated Journals Limited in a plot re-allotment case. The order was passed on two petitions. One was from Mr. Hooda and the other was from the Associated Journals Limited. Now let's move on to the next segment, which is of Kerala High Court. A division bench of the Kerala High Court has recently remarked that being a court of record, the High Court can review its own judgment under Article 226 of the Constitution. Now next we have an update coming from the Gujarat High Court. The High Court of Gujarat has ruled that the Director General of GST Intelligence can issue show cause notices in a relief to the Indirect Tax Department, which was taken to court by a Mumbai-based company over its investigation arm's power to issue tax notices. Now let's proceed with the last segment of our news analysis, which is the international news. On Thursday, a court denied Britney Spears' request to eject her father from a guardianship arrangement that gives him control over her affairs. This decision of the court has come a week after the singer made a very passionate and emotional plea before the court, asking it to end this abusive arrangement. During the course of this hearing, she stated that she had been subjected to a lot of invasive control by her father. She had been medicated to control her behavior, and she was also prohibited from making decisions concerning a very personal and crucial aspect like friendship, and she was also prevented from having a contraceptive implant removed despite wanting more children. That's all we have for this week. The link of all these news updates are made available for your kind consideration in the description section. Thank you for being with us.